Welcome, everyone. It is Tawnya Love with The Real, Raw, and Truthful. So glad to be back and connecting with you all. It's interesting because the last few days I have just been kind of processing some different topics to discuss and share. And so I'm going to trust that what needs to come through today will come through. But I have a lot of different focal points of topics. And so I will be getting to several different topics will be shared soon on my platform. But today I'm feeling inspired to speak about what love really is. And there's a saying that has been around for quite a while that talks about tough love, like tough love is the best love. And I'm going to talk about that from a spiritual perspective, because I feel like what gets a lot of people in trouble is, first of all, their belief systems in what love is and what it isn't, their own shadow, their own woundedness, and their unprocessed trauma, their unprocessed programming. And until a soul understands what they've taken on, right, as a human, we come in and we take on energy from our families, from our communities, from our ethnic groups, from our societal standing. There's a lot of projection and a lot of belief systems, and they're presented and regurgitated in the form of tradition, in the form of, this is the way it is. And a lot of humans grow up in this, watching a father behave in a certain way, watching a mother behave in a certain way, watching their elders behave in a certain way, maybe their grandparents or whoever is of influence in their upbringing, and also observing community leaders, observing societal standards and societal norms, and all of that we take in. We take it in for the good or for the bad. We take it in, and we have to understand what it is that is making sense for our journey, what it is that feels authentic to our own spiritual journey, and what is most important for us, for our growth, for our learning, for our well-being. And sometimes a soul comes in that is quite advanced and will feel very much like it doesn't belong in its current society or in the family that it was born into, because that soul came in to observe energy, to process and transmute energy, and to alchemize that energy. And from their own spiritual perspective, it's always from a place of growth and expansion for that soul. Sometimes there are souls that will be attached to families karmically. And I feel like I've discussed that in some of the podcasts, how I had timelines where I was native, many timelines, and where there were tragic things that happened that connected me to the ones who had actually brutally murdered my family, my relatives, and myself. And sometimes we come in to transmute that pain. We are drawn to a soul or a soul group to understand what makes them tick, like why they're that way. And sometimes it's because of long-standing cycles of abuse or enslavement. It can be very complex. And as a shamanic healer, I do my best to channel in that clarity and that guidance for myself and also for my clients, for my loved ones, to help them to view their lives in a multidimensional way and to help them to really activate that higher conscious self, the higher self that really does understand why it's going through different situations, and that there is an important purpose to it all. There's an important purpose to that soul's very own growth and expansion. And so when we understand things from that perspective, and we can do some shadow work and work with a shaman or work with a healer that we trust, And or we can do this on our own. I have done this on my own with my spirit team, and I have accessed so much through meditation and through just being present with spirit and present in nature, and just opening up to remember, opening up to receive. I get a lot of information that comes to me in my dream time, in my sleeping dream, as well as in the waking dream. And a lot of it is about paying attention, like really being present and paying attention to what's coming in and why, and opening ourselves to deeply understand so that we can advance, so that we can ascend into a higher consciousness, and we can progress, and we can better our lives. And so much of my life of being a shamanic healer for my personal experience is understanding that everything that comes to me is coming for me, for my benefit, for my growth, for my advancement, for my deeper understanding. And so once the soul understands that, they really do not stay stuck in these victim mentalities. They don't stay stuck in these codependent, abusive cycles, because they can clearly understand why that's coming. And they use that information as a tool for their own advancement. And so there's a lot of courage called for on this path. And this is probably why there's not a lot of people that want to actually walk it. And it's interesting because I feel like often I seem to have a spirit that can trigger, and I'm not doing this, like I'm not doing anything to trigger people, but I've observed in my journey how I can just walk into a room and be present with the situation. I can be observing someone's behavior, and they become very triggered because they do not want anyone being aware of what they're up to. They don't want to be seen in their shadow. They don't want anyone to know that they're being manipulative, or that they're lying, or that they're performing. And so a soul like mine, when it enters a space, there is an energetic activation. The light I carry, the consciousness I am embodying, creates a ripple into the environment, and it can create triggers in those who are hiding out, in those who are playing small, in those who are being called by their higher self and their higher spirit team to advance and to grow and to step into their truth and to step into their authentic power. And they, sometimes the human part of them that's in ego, that's playing a part, can be very triggered when the spiritual initiation or activation enters. And so one thing that's been important for my journey is understanding that how people receive that, how they interpret my frequency, or how they interpret my presence, is not my business. That has nothing to do with me. So let's say you could have two different people receive you very differently. One could be like, oh my gosh, you're so gifted, and how do you know this about me? And you're so right. Like, I really have been struggling with this, and I've had this addiction, and I've been, keeping it a secret, and I really struggle. Like, I try to act cocky. I try to show the world that I'm this like cocky, well, they're not trying to show the world they're cocky, but they have an energy where they're trying to show the world this sense of confidence and superiority. But they know that deep inside they feel insecure, insignificant. They feel like they're making bad choices. They feel like maybe some people to the deepest level, they feel like they're a piece of shit. They feel like they're a bad person because they have no self-control. And so a soul like mine will enter and can sense exactly what's there. And the mask or the illusion is not able to be held up. And so those people will feel very vulnerable and can become very defensive and want to project or lash out or attack the person that's just standing in their conscious presence. And so I'm saying this because, one, it helps me explain to the world, of anyone that's curious about how I work, that I do understand that energetic exchange, but also for those that might be experiencing this themselves, where you might have in your life, like I did, might have had a lot of time where you've asked what's wrong with you, because people lash out at you. They want to purposely hurt you. They want to make sure you feel left out. They want to constantly make you feel like you have to prove yourself, or they want to come at you with little snide remarks and little arrogant, little stabs, like maybe it's seeming like it's a playful little joke, but there's an undertone of hatred, and your soul can sense it. Your soul knows that something feels off, that environments don't feel safe. And sometimes it's your own family. You might enter a room or you might be in a family situation where you just would rather stay to yourself because you feel the undertone of hatred or jealousy, competition, judgment. And you can tell when people are not genuinely happy for you, when they actually are happy when you're struggling, but they're triggered when you're winning. And it's so important to pay attention to that, because as a soul that is here for advancement, a big part of your journey is to recognize who your actual people are, like who are the people and what are the environments that support you and that you feel safe and seen, heard, and supported. Because if you're in environments where you feel blocked and judged and attacked and invisible and like you're not important, I promise you that is a big part of a soul wound that you need to heal. And it's happening for you. It's happening so that you will actually recognize what is not feeling right to you, and maybe what has never felt right to you, but it's coming to awaken you. It's coming to shake you, to awaken you, to help you set yourself free so that you can move in more aligned energies and move in more aligned directions, and not stay stuck or tethered because of codependent attachment, because of abuse patterns and cycles. And a lot of this, it's not, I won't even try to sugarcoat it. It is not the easiest path to walk if you are walking the path of the shaman or the healer, the empath, the way shower. These paths take incredible strength. They require incredible strength. They require incredible discernment and resilience and deep understanding of self. And so we have to understand in ourselves what is coming as an initiation. So if there is a situation that keeps repeating itself, that is a sign for you to look into, that there is something presenting itself to show you where you are stuck, to show you where you have addictions, to show you where you have codependency, to show you where you have fear, where you have judgment, where you are stuck, where you are keeping yourself stuck. Because I promise you, no one else is keeping you stuck in patterns. No one else is holding you in patterns of addiction or abuse other than yourself. Now, there may be circumstances where you have put yourself in situations where you're being abused. And, as a child, I could say I felt very stuck, like I had to endure that. But the deepest truth is, any moment as a soul that we realize we're done with this, we can be done and we can set ourselves free. And that might mean a child leaving that family, or a woman leaving her husband, or a partner leaving their life partner, a person leaving their job that they've been at for a very long time, because they know there's a calling, there's a soul calling for spiritual advancement and for growth and expansion. And that calling will continue until we answer it. And so some humans, they will ignore the calling, and the energies that are, causing pressure and pain and struggle and discomfort will just get higher. They'll get stronger. They'll get louder. And it's not coming to punish us. It's coming to awaken us. And so a huge part of understanding the cycle of that and like self-love is we need to realize that the universe really loves us and supports us and is working for us always. And so that tough love comes to the form of sometimes struggle or not getting our way or having people attack us or having people take from us and harm us or mistreat us and not see us correctly. But it's coming to wake us up to realize these people are not able to see us correctly. They are not at the level in their unconsciousness to be able to actually see us. That doesn't mean something's wrong with us. And this is something I learned, like I remember when I was younger, because I had been abused since I was 4 years old. I had been mistreated my whole life by my family. And that created quite a cycle and a pattern. And then I ended up dating people who mistreated me, who did not respect me, who did not treat me the way I deserved to be. And I had to see in myself that there was this pattern. I had to choose to love myself and to set myself free of those patterns. And I had to set myself free of a lot of people, a lot of relatives that, let's just say relatives don't always relate, right? And we could relate to others and feel incredible connection. And that's beautiful. But a lot of humans do not have that experience. Their souls come in and they're very much the outcast in their families. They're the seer, the truth teller. They know things, and the families don't like that. And so they punish and abuse them and gaslight them. And so a huge part of setting ourselves free is to understand that, and then to also understand that the responsibility for advancement is always in our own hands. No one else holds that other than you. So if you stay stuck in codependent attachments that you hate, you are choosing that. If you stay stuck in misaligned connections where there's no integrity, where there's hatred, where there's slander, where there's gossip, where there's competition, jealousy, that is your choice. You're choosing to stay there. If you're staying with a partner who's lying to you every day, who's cheating on you, who treats you like trash, you have to choose to stop allowing that. You have to choose to see that you deserve better. If you're a parent and you are doing your best to help your children understand these important life lessons, and they lash out at you, they run away from you, they lie, they gossip, they slander, they try to harm you because you actually care about them, you have to pull your energy back and set them free. And sometimes, I understand in a spiritual place that I was here as the divine feminine to give birth and be a portal of life for these souls to enter. But those souls do not belong to me. They are souls that chose me. They chose to be birthed through me. And it could have been from karmic reasons. It could have been through, soul connected reasons where we were a soul tribe. And it could be many different reasons. And so it's important to understand that. And the tough love aspect that I was wanting to touch on is we have to have that love with ourselves. We have to hold ourselves accountable. We have to have tough love with ourselves, because if we are bullshitting ourselves every day, we're in trouble. If we gaslight ourselves every day, we're in trouble. So the first place we have to begin with that tough love is with self, and we need to call ourselves out on our shit. If we see that we have these toxic patterns, stop lying to yourself and saying it's fine because no one else knows. Or if you're a lying, cheating person and you just keep thinking everyone else is stupid because they're not catching on, you're really screwing yourself, because you are lying to yourself. You are deceiving yourself onto a path where you're losing yourself. You're losing your own soul. You're losing your own integrity. And so the first step is we have to be able to sit and look in the mirror and see ourselves and see the shit we do and see if are we helping the world or are we harming the world? If we walk around and say, like, I had an ex that I released not too long ago, and he loved to say this statement of always leave things better than you found them. He loved to say it. He does not live that way. He does not leave anything better than he found it. He harms people. He harms people in the world. He lies. He manipulates. He gaslights. But he loves to say these little sayings. And so we have to really pay attention to not just what people say, but what they're showing us, what they're in their energy telling us. And it's important for us to realize that we are the only one that has the final say on if we're going to tolerate a certain thing or not. So if someone's showing you that they're full of shit and they like to say certain things, but they don't live it, if they want to gaslight your reality, try to make you feel like you're crazy, and they like to tell people that because they are scared and they're afraid and they're a coward, they're terrified to look at themselves, they're terrified to connect with Source God and with Spirit, they're terrified to redeem themselves and to come into the light and to heal and shed all the trauma and all the toxicity that they have lost themselves to. That is their choice to do that. But it is always our choice to call our power back, to see our worth, and to, like I said, when I was in my 20s and I was still very much in a place where I was, on my journey of healing, to heal myself, to even understand myself and to understand what I had survived. I would say, what's wrong with me all the time? People would be mean to me. I would say, what's wrong with me? How come no one likes me? How come people treat me like this? And when I got to a place where I could finally look at it in the clear way, in a clear and precise way of saying, what is wrong and what is going on with them? Because there's nothing wrong with me. That changed the game. When I could really see that it is not that there's something wrong with me. I'm not causing people to treat me shitty. I'm not causing people to lie to me. I'm not causing people to try to take me down a notch or two and try to humble me and make me feel like I'm less than them. That is what other people are doing. I'm not hurting people. So when I could see it clearly, then I could actually set myself free from those programs and those people, because until we can recognize it, we will attract those very kind of people that will harm us and continue the cycle, continue the patterns. And so the tough love we need, it has to begin with ourselves. We have to really hold ourselves accountable. We have to stop lying to ourselves. If we know we've hurt people, we need to suck it up and we need to be honest with ourselves. And big picture, we need to go and make it right with those people. And that's something you'll understand between you and Source God, whether it's just speaking the truth, honoring someone, clearing their name of the bullshit that you've spread, all the slander that you've created. If it's going and giving back money you've stolen, like my ex-husband took so much money from me. I left him. He kept everything. He slandered my name. He talked trash about me. He has stolen money that I had actually won from a very traumatic lawsuit experience, and he kept it all. Didn't even explain to me where it went. Very, very disgusting things. But that karma is on him. That karma, I promise, will come and return to him. And especially when Source God offers those people an opportunity for redemption, an opportunity to come clean, an opportunity to tell the truth, an opportunity to do the right thing, and then the soul still refuses, they will get their karma. So it's important for us that when we're walking that path, and I don't like to use the word righteous because I feel like it's misused, but there's a true definition of righteousness. And when we're walking that aligned, I like to use the word aligned, the aligned, honoring path, even when it looks like others are getting the upper hand and they're winning and they're knocking us down and they're trying to destroy our name and they're trying to make us feel like no one will love us. And it can feel very lonely. It can feel very it can be overwhelmingly painful because of the injustice. But I promise you, if you keep walking that aligned path, if you keep trusting in the divine and listening to the universe and trusting in yourself, trusting in your mission, you are going to be fine. And I promise you, those who tried to destroy you and take you down and harm you when you were in your innocence, when you were doing your best just to heal, they will also face their karma. It will be done. It is absolute fact that it will be done. So don't waste your life or your happiness sitting around and worrying about those kind of people, because they're their own worst enemy. But it is so important that you remove yourself from them. It is so important that you practice healthy boundaries, that you practice healthy and really clear discernment, and that you listen to the calling to grow and expand beyond those kind of people, because they are not the people that are good for you. They are not the people. They've showed you repeatedly. I have people in my life that showed me repeatedly exactly who they were, exactly, their shady ways, their lying, manipulative ways, and they continue to be that. And it's a shame for them, because they will stay stuck and they will not advance and they will not grow and they will not be blessed in true divine ways because of those choices. And so any of you that are struggling, any of you that feel like maybe there has been an injustice, or you feel afraid, or something is calling you to let someone or something go, I'm telling you, I'm just going to encourage you to trust in that and to flow, because your higher self is always calling you to go in the directions that are truly for your highest and best. And that should feel like a heavenly walk on earth. Like us souls that are here working for the divine, we are bringing heaven to earth. We are shifting the frequencies, the timelines. We are activating the grids. We are calling in the light codes, because that is why we've come. The purpose is to raise the frequency, to come into a unity consciousness, to come into harmony within ourselves, within our relationships, and within our collective, within the world around us. And there are some souls that are fighting that like crazy. They are doing so much. They're trying to attack and destroy the light. They want to believe that the darkness and that their black magic and their spells and their wicked voodoo is more powerful than love, more powerful than light, more powerful than Source God. And I promise you, it is not. And it never will be. It gets loud, it gets snarly, but it is not more powerful. And so it's really important that all of us individually awaken to this truth and choose to walk that divinely aligned path. And you will never walk that path while you are sitting there gaslighting yourself, while you are sitting there cowardly and arrogantly talking trash about someone who is nothing but loving to you. You will never advance while you are stealing from other people, while you are manipulating other people. And anytime a soul is trying to mess with another soul's free will, oh, I promise you, the karma you will receive will rock your world. Because if there's anything that I as a soul have been very clearly shown and have a deep knowing of, it is that we are not to fuck around with anyone's free will, that we are to honor the free will of others. And this is where, if we love someone, whether it's a child, a lover, a husband, a partner, a coworker, a best friend, it doesn't matter what the title is. If we love someone, we truly do, and they show us that they are they're incapable of loving us, they're incapable of receiving our love and treating us with the love and honor we deserve, we must let them go if we love ourselves. And you can learn a lot about if a person loves themselves by how much they're clinging to people who are not good for them, by how much they're clinging to people who dishonor them, by how much they're clinging to just have a title with someone in codependency that cheats on them, that lies to them, that treats them terribly. That is weakness. That is always coming from fear and in a sense of inadequacy. It is never coming from an empowered space. It is never coming from love. And so tough love requires us to shut doors. Tough love requires us to walk in our courage and to speak our truth and to walk in our power. And tough love requires us to have excellent boundaries and discernment. And we don't let people just keep coming in and trampling over our hearts. We don't allow people to keep coming in that show us that they're only coming to take from us. They could give a shit about us unless they need something from us, unless they can get some financial assistance from us, or they can get some kind of level up from us, or they can come in and try to, mess with us and fuck with our confidence so that they can feel like they're more powerful. That is it's literally sick. It's mentally sick. And we must have incredible self-love in order to walk this path and enjoy this life and truly thrive. And we must have incredible discernment and have tough love with anyone and everyone who shows us that they are dishonoring, that shows us that they are a liar, that they are toxic, that they are manipulative, that they are a thief, whatever it is. If they show you that, if you know that, if you get a hit of that, sometimes you might meet someone for the first time. Maybe you're going on a date and you're just giving someone a chance because they want to get to know you, and you meet up and you can sense it so quickly with some people. Like, they are immediately letting you know how full of shit they are. And it's always up to us to go, you know what? I can sense this. This person is not in their alignment. They are not a person of integrity. I can feel that. So I'm going to just have a good night and tell them thank you and go on my own journey, go in my own direction. And so it's so important that we just understand that in ourselves, and that we don't have to stay attached to anyone. Spiritually speaking, we do not have to be attached to anyone. We choose that through programming. We choose that through fear. We choose that through belief systems, programming. We do not have to do that. We are all spiritually sovereign. We are all spiritually free. We are all spiritually worthy. But it's up to our level of awareness and a level of consciousness that will help us to see that. And if we haven't done any healing work on ourselves, and we haven't looked within to find the answers, and we haven't sat with ourselves and our shadow and integrated that shadow and actually called ourselves out on our own shit, if we move towards people but we don't tell the truth of why, if we have shady intentions but we try to present ourselves as being good, upstanding citizens, we know that, like, a soul deep down inside that human knows that what they're up to. If they're being nice to someone just to take advantage, if they're being kind to someone to manipulate them, if they're trying to look like the savior hero just to look like the savior hero so that they can puppeteer that person or that group of individuals, they know it deep inside. They know that they are a shady motherfucker. So energetically, tough love requires us to call ourselves out on that if it's us. And if it's happening to us, tough love requires us to call it out to the others, or to remove ourselves from the situation so that we do not stay eternally connected to that shit, or we don't just waste our entire lives. I have observed a lot of the humans I broke away from that were relative, they called themselves relatives. I never related to them. And so I will say they called themselves my relatives, but I watched them in their patterns for a very long time until I just was done watching it and realized It doesn't matter how much I give or how much I say or do. These people will not see me. They will not show me the love I know I deserve. And they don't give it to themselves. And they surround themselves with this pettiness and this jealousy and competition and greed, corruption. And so when you can see that and not be afraid to see it, that's a beautiful thing, because that is your soul taking you through that. It's like a veil, like a curtain, a doorway, a portal, an initiation to your higher self, your highest reality. And the only way you'll ever get there is by doing that work yourself, by walking into the unknown. The book I wrote, Universal Trust Fund Baby, is written for exactly that reason. Years and years of wisdom that I shared in this book to help people with this modern day ascension manual, to help them understand that there are very practical ways you can set intentions every day, and in a year from now, be a very different person. Be your true self, but living in a very different way, because a lot of people are identifying as what they think who they are is, and all it is a character. It's a character they're playing. It's a program they're regurgitating. It's a play that they're reenacting, but it's not their authentic self. It's not the true self that came here to live in a sense of power and light and truth. It's not their true self that came here with a source mission to bring light, love, truth, illumination. And so every moment we're given the opportunity to grow and advance and expand. And I have created this book for those who are interested. You can go to my website and contact me, and you could start to use that and read that book. And and there's another thing I've seen. I remember this. There was a time where there was this. I'll just be very clear. This very arrogant woman was chattering on, and I was just listening to her talk, and she was talking about how she had read every spiritual book, and there's nothing anyone could tell her, and she knows it all, and she's read them all. And first of all, that is not true, and everything in me knew that was not true. But I just said to her, can I say something? And she's like, yeah, what is it? And I was like, you say you've read all the spiritual books, but let me ask you, are you applying the wisdom? Are you applying the wisdom of those books that you've read, or are you just collecting them? And I have quite a few books in my house, and some of them I have because I just think they're really beautiful. I won't lie. There's some leather bound gold tip books that I like because I just love the look of them. And I also love some of my books that I've read, and some of them that I've read so many times that they're worn out. But it's the thing with spiritual wisdom is not how many books you can collect. It's, are you able to apply that wisdom? Are you able to align with that consciousness and hold a frequency in an empowering way? Because if you're walking around with spiritual supremacy, you're walking around with this arrogance, this nobody can teach me anything attitude, you are your own problem, and you're your own worst enemy. Because anyone who feels that they cannot be taught anything, or anyone who feels that they cannot receive anything new, is stuck exactly right there, because that is what they're believing, because that is what they are saying to the universe. They're limiting it. So my point with this podcast today, and I know I went a little longer, but that's okay because I'm just in the flow today, is to really look at yourself, practice self-love, practice tough love, hold yourself accountable, and hold others accountable. Don't keep taking back that guy that lies to you all the time. Don't keep over-explaining yourself to people who are devoted to misunderstanding you. Don't keep trying to explain yourself to someone who refuses to even listen, who refuses to even allow you to speak without interrupting you or talking over you or talking at you or talking shit about you. The world, your world, whoever you are listening, your world can become so much more beautiful if you take accountability for it. If you take your power back and you hold yourself accountable and you start walking that sacred and honoring path. And that begins with how you talk to yourself and how you see yourself and how you excuse your own behavior, how you lie to yourself, how you gaslight yourself. And for those of you that are living already in that alignment and you are good, honoring people, and you are doing your best to walk that path with confidence, but you are so codependently attached to people that are not good for you, that do not respect you, they do not honor you, they're there taking from you, they're there harming you, they're there disrespecting and dishonoring you, this podcast is for you, my beautiful, sacred starseed soul family. For you to awaken and for you to take your power back and for you to really see what is best for you and that is what you are here to walk forward towards. What is best for you. You're not here to keep on sacrificing for others. You're here to walk in your truth, in your radiant truth, and be blessed for it. And anyone who tries to convince you that you are there to put up with their shit constantly and be eternally patient with their bullshit and that you're there to help them feel better while you feel uncomfortable, it is a lie. You need to pay attention to how you feel around people. All my sweet empathic soul family, you got to start paying attention to how you feel around people. Because how you're feeling inside around people is often so telling to if something is good for you. And pay attention to how you're making people feel as well. If I've got any of the toxic ones listening to this podcast, pay attention to how your energy seems to affect people. And don't tell yourself and gaslight yourself into believing that means you're powerful. If you make people feel anxious, you make people feel confused, you make people feel insecure, that is not power. That is weakness and toxicity. And so this message is for everyone, the ones who are wounded and damaged and causing harm in others, and the ones who still have some woundedness to the point where they're allowing others to continue to cause damage in their life. It's for all of us. We're all being called to step forward into our truth, into our sovereignty, into our highest authentic self. And we're all being called forth to live that truth and to live with honor and to stop gaslighting ourselves and to stop gaslighting each other, to start honoring ourselves so that we can also honor each other. This is the message. Namaste.